The 2024 U.S. elections were a testament to the deep divisions in American society. Donald Trump, the Republican candidate, emerged victorious, securing a second term as president. His victory, however, was far from a landslide. The election results revealed a nation split almost evenly down the middle, with stark differences in voting patterns across various demographic groups. Trump's triumph was a bitter pill to swallow for many, especially after the tumultuous years of his first term. His presidency had been marked by controversy, impeachment proceedings, and a global pandemic that exposed deep-seated inequalities within the country. Yet, despite the turmoil, a significant portion of the American electorate remained loyal to Trump, drawn to his populist message and promises of economic prosperity. The 2024 elections were not just about choosing a president, they were a referendum on the direction of the country. Trump's victory signaled that a significant portion of America was ready to stay the course, despite the controversies and uncertainties that lay ahead. The election results were a stark reminder that America was a nation deeply divided. The rifts that had been widening for decades between rural and urban, liberal and conservative, rich and poor, had become chasms. Bridging these divides would be the defining challenge of Trump's second term, a task that seemed almost insurmountable given the polarized political climate. The 2024 U.S. elections once again highlighted the crucial role of battleground states in determining the outcome of the presidential race. These states, with their large number of electoral votes and unpredictable voting patterns, became the epicenters of intense campaigning and political strategizing. Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, the so-called blue wall that had crumbled in 2016, remained key battlegrounds in 2024. Trump managed to hold on to these states, albeit by slimmer margins, demonstrating his enduring appeal among white working-class voters who had been the backbone of his previous victory. Arizona, a traditionally Republican state that had flipped blue in 2020, became a focal point of the 2024 election. The state's growing Hispanic population and increasing urbanization made it a toss-up, with both campaigns pouring resources into winning over its voters. The battle for the White House was ultimately won and lost in these key states. Trump's ability to maintain his hold on the Rust Belt, coupled with his success in Arizona, proved decisive in securing his second term. The results underscored the importance of understanding the unique demographics and political currents within these battleground states, as they held the key to unlocking the presidency. One of the most striking features of the 2024 U.S. elections was Trump's continued support among white working-class voters. Despite concerns about his handling of the economy and the pandemic, Trump maintained his appeal, especially in Rust Belt states. His success was due to his populist message, promises to bring back manufacturing jobs, and hardline stance on immigration. Another surprising trend was Trump's increased support among Hispanic voters, particularly in Florida and Texas. This shift was due to his focus on economic issues, law and order, and conservative values. The support of these voters was crucial to Trump's 2024 victory, highlighting his ability to connect on an emotional level. The 2024 U.S. elections also witnessed a notable shift in voting patterns among Arab American communities. While traditionally a Democratic-leaning demographic, Arab American voters showed signs of disillusionment with the party, with some shifting their allegiance to Trump or choosing not to vote at all. This shift was attributed to a number of factors, including dissatisfaction with the Democratic Party's stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, concerns about the economy, and a perception that the party had taken their votes for granted. Trump's outreach to Arab American communities, coupled with his perceived strength on issues like terrorism and national security, also played a role in swaying some voters. The shift in the Arab American vote, while not a seismic event, was significant nonetheless. It highlighted the growing political awareness within this community and their willingness to punish parties that they perceived as not representing their interests. The Democratic Party in particular was forced to confront the reality that it could no longer take the Arab American vote for granted and needed to work harder to address the concerns of this increasingly important voting bloc. With his victory secured, Donald Trump wasted no time in assembling his team for his second term. The process was watched closely, as it provided insights into the direction Trump intended to take his presidency and the priorities he would focus on. Some familiar faces were expected to return, including Vice President Mike Pence, who had remained a steadfast loyalist throughout Trump's tumultuous first term. However, there were also rumors of shakeups within the cabinet, with some speculating that Trump would use his second term to surround himself with more ideologically aligned advisors. The selection of key cabinet positions, particularly in areas like foreign policy, defense, and the economy, would be crucial in shaping the agenda of Trump's second term. The appointments would also reveal whether Trump intended to moderate his approach or double down on the policies and rhetoric that had defined his first 4 years in office. The economy was expected to be a defining issue of Donald Trump's second term, just as it had been in his first. Trump had campaigned on a platform of economic nationalism, promising to bring back manufacturing jobs, renegotiate trade deals, and unleash American energy independence. While Trump could point to a strong economy prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, his critics argued that his policies primarily benefited the wealthy and corporations, while doing little to address income inequality or the struggles of working-class Americans. The pandemic had exacerbated these inequalities, exposing the vulnerabilities of an economy that had become increasingly reliant on gig work and service sector jobs. Trump's second term would be an opportunity for him to prove that his economic policies could deliver sustained growth and prosperity for all Americans. However, he would also face the challenge of addressing the long-term structural issues that had been plaguing the U.S. economy for decades, including income inequality, stagnant wages, and a shrinking middle class. Donald Trump's America First foreign policy had been one of the most defining features of his presidency, upending decades of U.S. foreign policy orthodoxy. Trump had shown a willingness to challenge traditional alliances, withdraw from international agreements, and engage in unilateral action, often in pursuit of what he perceived to be American interests. Trump's second term was expected to see a continuation of this approach, with a focus on confronting China, renegotiating trade deals, and reducing U.S. military commitments abroad. Trump's skepticism of multilateralism and his preference for bilateral deals had raised concerns among allies who feared that the U.S. was retreating from its global leadership role. The global implications of Trump's America First 2.0 approach would be profound. The international order, already under strain from rising nationalism and great power competition, would face further challenges as the U.S. retreated from its traditional role as a guarantor of global stability. The world would be watching closely to see how Trump intended to navigate the complex challenges of the 21st century, and whether his America First approach would lead to greater conflict or cooperation on the world stage. Donald Trump's victory in the 2024 U.S. elections signaled a continuation of the political realignment that had begun with his unexpected triumph in 2016. Trump had tapped into a deep well of resentment and frustration among voters who felt ignored by the political establishment, and he had fundamentally reshaped the Republican Party in his image. The Democratic Party, meanwhile, was left grappling with its own internal divisions and struggling to find a message that could resonate with voters who had abandoned them in droves. The party was torn between its progressive wing, which advocated for bold structural change, and its more moderate faction, which argued for a more pragmatic approach. The future of American politics would be shaped by the ongoing struggle between these two visions for the country. Trump's second term would likely exacerbate the existing divisions within American society, as he continued to pursue policies that appealed to his base but alienated large swaths of the population. The question was whether the U.S. could find a way to bridge these divides and heal the wounds that had been festering for so long.